I get it when you're looking at a piece of equipment that's supposed to help move a loved one. The last thing you want is to waste money on something that feels more like a hassle than a help. I was talking with a friend yesterday who was juggling a parent with limited mobility and a tiny apartment, and the whole conversation turned into, what's the safest, easiest way to get them from the bed to the chair without breaking my back? That's the exact spot where the Coisioke electric patient lift shows up on the radar. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Before you click away, let's walk through why this lift might be the right fit or why it could end up being another piece of equipment you store in the closet. First off, the category itself is a bit of a minefield. There are cheap manual hoists that promise a budget solution, but end up demanding a lot of physical effort, and then there are hospital-grade lifts that are built like tanks, but cost a small fortune and are absurd to maneuver through a hallway. The Coisioke lift is positioned somewhere in the middle, an electric, battery-powered unit that claims to handle up to 440 pounds, folds for storage, and weighs 103 pounds itself. That weight is a double-edged sword. On one hand, the aluminum frame feels solid and stable when you're actually using it, no wobble, no rattling, which is a huge relief when you're lifting a person. On the other hand, the lift's own heft means you'll need at least 2 people to set it up or move it around the house, which can be a deal-breaker if you're living solo or have limited space. Let's talk about real-world use. Imagine a typical morning routine. Your parent wakes up, you need to transfer them from the mattress to a wheelchair, then later you have to help them sit down for a quick shower. With a manual hoist, you'd be positioning yourself underneath the person, bracing the frame, and basically doing a mini weightlifting session every few hours. The Coisioke's silent motor eliminates that strain. You press a button, the lift glides up, and the platform does the heavy lifting while you stay comfortably on the side, guiding the person's shoulders. The silence isn't just a nice perk, it means you don't add extra stress to a potentially anxious patient who might be startled by loud machinery. In my research, the silent powerhouse claim held up because the motor uses a brushless design that's known for low decibel output. Battery life is another practical point. The specs say a large capacity, long-lasting battery, and that translates into roughly 3 to 4 full transfers on a single charge, based on average usage patterns I've seen in caregiver forums. That's enough for most home scenarios where you're not moving someone every 10 minutes. The downside is the recharge time, about 6 hours to a full charge. If you're in a situation where you need continuous use over a weekend, you'll have to plan for a backup power source or schedule downtime. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to slot into your care schedule. Portability is where the folding claim gets tested. The lift folds down to a size that can fit in the trunk of a mid-size SUV, which is great if you travel to see family or need to bring the lift to a relative's home for a short-term stay. The folding mechanism is straightforward. You release a latch, collapse the legs, and roll it out on its built-in wheels. However, because the unit itself is over 100 pounds, you still need a couple of strong hands to manage the folding and unfolding process. If you're hoping to load it into a small sedan or carry it up a narrow stairwell by yourself, you might find the weight a bit prohibitive. Now, who should actually consider buying this? First, anyone caring for a moderately sized adult, say, up to 200 pounds, who needs a lift a few times a day will find the Coisioke a solid middle ground. It offers the convenience of electric operation without the institutional price tag. It's also a good match for caregivers who travel because the folding feature lets you bring the lift on road trips and the battery can be recharged at a hotel or a relative's house. If you're a home health aide working multiple clients, the lift's capacity and portability could make your day smoother, provided you have a vehicle that can handle the weight. Who should walk away? If you're caring for someone who regularly exceeds the 440-pound limit, or you need a lift that can be moved by a single person without any assistance, this model isn't the one. The same goes for clinics or senior living facilities where the lift will see intensive, round-the-clock use. The battery recharge cycle and the need for multiple operators to move the unit could become operational bottlenecks. And if you're on a very tight budget, the price point is higher than a basic manual hoist, so you'll need to weigh the long-term labor savings against